Hello everyone, hello Manjulva and my friends. Today I am going to deliver my speech about the motion, about our debating, and the motion is online learning is a rubbish. Before I start my speech, I would like to thank for the opportunity that has given to me. And first, let me introduce our team. I am Alviani, the first speaker of the government team, and our second speaker is Desak Findya, and the third speaker is Novia. Next, I would like to give our motion today. Our motion today is this house believes that online learning is rubbish. Okay, I would like to explain the definition of the motion. An online class or online learning is a course conducted over the internet. They are generally conducted through a learning management system in which students can view their course syllabus and academic progress, as well as communicate with fellow students and their course instructor. Online learning site courses is offering 10 classes for free from now till May 31, 2020 to support access to online education. And as we know, today our government has decided a new rules to do everything activity in our house. So we have to do study, work, and then anything activity by ourselves in our home. So as Indonesia, the students have to stay at home and they have to study by virtual online. But in this case, many cases of online class or online learning that makes online learning is rubbish. As the first speaker of the government team, the House believes that online learning is rubbish. I would like to explain my argument about the motion. First, I agree fully with the statement that online learning is a rubbish. As we know, nowadays many kinds of activities should do in our home. So as learning activity, all the students have to learning from their home. It is done to avoid the spread of coronavirus in our country. Teachers or lecturers will give the student the materials, the course, and some assignments. Why online learning is rubbish? First, online learning requires more time than on-campus classes. In this case, students have to spend a lot of their time to be active in their phone. Of course, it has negative impact to the student because it will make the student's eyes hurt because too much looking at the cell phone screen. 2. Little or no face-to-face interaction. Actually, students will find the difficultness to understand the materials of the lessons. It is because teacher is the one who can explain us about the lesson better. So it's hard to us to understand by ourselves. Third and the last, online learning makes students stress and depressed because the assignment. As we know, today a lot of students have getting stressed because don't know about the lesson. They just do the assignment. They just finishing the assignment according to the deadline. They just know how to finish it, not to understand it. Why it makes them stress? Because when we try to understand and to fix the problem, but we cannot find a solution, we will get stressful. Okay, that's all for from the first speaker of the government team.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce my team. I am Prabu Putra Negara as the first speaker, Andika, Wahyu, Muaffin as the second speaker, and Rafita Fatma as the third speaker. We are from the negative team. We disagree with the statement that online learning is rubbish. As we know, in March, schools in Indonesia are closed because the Indonesian government recommends everyone to stay at home so that COVID-19 does not spread quickly. As many countries do, to prevent transmission of the coronavirus in schools, Minister of Education and Culture issued a circular dated March 24, 2020, which regulates the implementation of education during the emergency period of the spread of coronavirus. This learning from home policy is appropriate to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the schools environment. For now, we think learning online is the best way when conditions like this. And we have 3 rebuttals for the points given by the first speaker of the affirmative team. For the first point, I think online learning has a flexible time. Students of online classes are often given the freedom to complete lessons anytime before a set deadline. This allows students to complete their coursework without sacrificing hours of precious time spent with family. Deadlines still need to be met, but your school schedule becomes much easier to adapt to your life schedule. It all depends on how you set the time for when online learning begins and when it's time to rest. For the second point, I think this is what is meant by online learning. If you don't understand the material provided by your teachers, you can find out for yourself the material on the internet. Sometimes the material on the internet is wider and easier to understand. You can also access online learning platforms such as Ruang Guru, Kuiper, etc., where you can directly ask the online teacher. And for the third point, and this last point, it seems I have already answered it with the first and second points I gave. As I said, online learning has flexible time. Do things that can relieve your stress, such as doing sports, doing things that make your mood recover. If you do not understand about the assignments given by the teacher or lecturer, such as what is said in the second point, try to find this material on the internet. You can also ask materials that you do not understand to your friends. And it seems impossible for teachers and lecturers to give assignments without any material being explained. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Desak Findya from the second speaker of the government team or pro team will deliver about the motion about this house believes that online learning is rubbish. The concept of online learning was to is learning teaching activities when the lecturer and the student could not be met at the time. Online learning is also one of the interactive learning tools. Lecturers and students can communicate using internet media. Lecturers can provide lecture material, whether in the form of files, videos, or writing, or text. With online learning, a lecturer can also teach in several places simultaneously. Moreover, in this pandemic situation, all of the, st- all of the lecturers and students are expected to be able to apply the concept of online learning perfectly. In addition, there are so many disadvantages to the students along this situation. Here are some disadvantages of it. The first point is more work. With the I understand what the speaker said about what the first speaker from the opposite teams or pro team said about we get our we get much time about how much time we get to do our assignments during online learning. But we as a student must not only have one course per week. We have a lot of courses and different deadline to submit the works, but also in each course per week we got at least 3 assignments in a single course with the deadline which was cutting it close. We have more and more work. Online courses typically require a greater amount of reading and assignments than traditional classes or directly learning. Programs in general are improving the quality of their online courses, and this means the students will have to do more to prove that they have mastered the material. Expect to spend at least 10 hours per week on each online course. However, it is not uncommon for a single course to require 15 or 20 hours per week. The second point is e-learning requires strong self-motivation. Indeed, there are so many online learning platforms nowadays such as Ruang Guru, Kuiper, etc. However, it depends on the student itself whether they have a strong self-motivation or not. Moreover, in the online learning, the level of cheating is bigger than direct learning. It makes the student easier to do the assignment without learn the materials hardly, which this situation makes the students has weak self-motivation about learning by themselves. In the setting of an online learning environment, however, there are fewer external factors which push the students to perform well. In many cases, the students are left to fend for themselves during their learning activities, without anyone constantly urging them on towards their learning goals. Students taking e-learning courses will find that they are often required to learn difficult materials in a comfortable home setting without any of the added pressure normally. As a result, keeping up with regular deadlines during online studies can become difficult for those students who lack strong self-motivation and time management skills. The third point is cheating prevention during online assessment is complicated. We are expecting that the online learning works as the first speaker of the opposite team said in his third point, which said that you can ask the teachers or your friends when there are some difficult materials you don't understand, you couldn't understand. However, the fact that as long as I see, mostly students are still shy and feel bad to ask the teacher. They prefer cheating on it, such as sharing the answer sheets with some friends and browsing the answer key, which was so criminal. In this situation, I understand how difficult to prevent the cheating when in the other side how easy the student to cheating in this kind of situation. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name Andika Muaffin as a second speaker from negative team. The topic for our debate is that this host believes that online learning is rubbish. Our team believes that this statement is false. In this situation on the world, because of the pandemic, the great solution for that is online learning. It is for safety risks for students, teachers, and all of the human in the world. And because of this, the presence of this virus and system online learning will directly and permanently change the education in the future. Now, to my first point, our first speaker has already stated that online learning has a flexible time, and the second speaker said that students expect to spend at least 10 hours per week on each online course. Although it wasn't a problem because the students should be supposed to learning, especially when they are a college student that require to be master of their major. All of the material that students studied are having purposes and attainment on the curriculum. Furthermore, because of the pandemic, all of the people in the world should not have useless activities in the outside, especially the student. And now, to my second point about second speaker said that studies can become difficult for the student who lack strong self-motivation and time management skills. I think this is wrong because despite the student learning at school or universities, there are still lazy students or lack strong self-motivation and management skills. So, because this learning system, it makes students having flexibility time. Students are trying to learn managing time and be responsible of what they do. If they are still unaccountable in the future, it will be bad. So, starting from this, the students should be forced to be responsible or will get the consequences. As a result, in this case, online learning is having advantages than disadvantages. And my third and final point is about cheating prevention during online assessment. I think it can be solved by the technologies that the teacher can correctly all of the answer student who is copy paste. Plagiarism checks that identify if the same code that is entered by the test taker is available on the internet. It can be used to prevent students from getting away with cheating in coding and programming tests. As long as I see, the teachers often offers shorter, more frequent quizzes. This will encourage students to keep up on their classwork and it reduces the incentive to cheat because the value of each quiz is lower than one comprehensive test. It seems already answered by the first and second points as I gave as I said that students should be having attainments on their studies and should be responsible for the way that they are doing. So, in the conclusion, I believe that online learning is not rubbish because of this online learning system makes student disciplined and responsible as a student. I think that's all from today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Online learning is indeed being applied in Indonesia because of the coronavirus outbreak. We are asked not to interact with others because of its transmission, which is very easy. So, in Indonesia, applying online learning. Online learning minimizes the spread of this virus but also disadvantages students. There are many disadvantages for students, including My first point, although online learning has a flexible time, but if students often stare at the monitor screen up to 10 hours more per week, it is undeniable that it's very dangerous for student health, especially eye health. They also interact with their friends also through online, so in the case will be very detrimental to the health of students. Now, to my second point. Regarding student responsibility, I think students often underestimate their responsibilities because, in my opinion, there are not a few students who are not responsible for mastering the material seriously, and given when give assignment or quizzes, they only carelessly seek answer on the internet without understanding the material correctly. In my opinion, even teacher will have difficulty doing assessment, and it is very difficult to distinguish between students who are responsible and those who are not. Okay, my last point is about plagiarism examination technology. In my opinion, the technology for plagiarism checking is less effective in dealing with the problem of cheating during online assessment because students not only do copy paste and then collect it, but they also already know how to edit it before collecting it, or maybe they can also use plagiarism checking technology to check their answer. So I think that the online class has so many drawbacks.
Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, the topic for our debate is about online course is rubbish. We, the negative team, believe that the statement is false. I commend for the affirmative team for their sincerity, but I have to point out some errors of interpretation. First, the first affirmative speaker has tried to tell you that online course makes students stress and depressed because of the assignment, but unfortunately, the primary source of stress in students is because of the fear of this pandemic and information overload, the trigger of social media fatigue, then affect their mental. She also tried to say that online courses require more time than on-campus on classes, and the student need to spend a lot of time for online on your gadget. But she didn't realize that students also spend the most of their time to play games, surf in social media, and watch movies. They were also wasting time for something that's not related with online courses and didn't maximizing those to study related to their course, so they couldn't understand the materials from the lecturers, like the first speaker has said in the second point. And the second affirmative speaker argued that the assignment took a lot of times while there were many assignments given by the lecturers. However, I found so many students kept their habit to procrastinate doing their assignment, with the result that they were losing their time almost close to the deadline, then the rest of assignment would accumulate and not be well done. She also argued that students were easily cheating during online assessment. However, she forgot that to prevent cheating, web programmers have been modified common web application for online exam with the way that the student only able to access the exam web during the exam time, and there is a over limited time for exam and no reattempts. And the third affirmative speaker then tried to say that plagiarism check technology is less effective in dealing plagiarism in online assessment. However, each plagiarism checker software has different level of accuracy, and it is difficult to make it below 10 to 30% of plagiarism standard. In summary, my team has proposed that first, Our first speaker spoke to you about online learning has flexible time. It is because the student can fit the schedule with their daily activity. Second, he also said that students can explore more about their course because they have more time in their house without getting distraction from outside. Third, our second speaker spoke to you about cheating prevention during online assessment can be solved by the technologies such as plagiarism checker software, and the teacher can set limit time for the exam so that the student will not have much time to cheat. So, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, we support the online class and against the statement that online class is rubbish. We believe there is solution for any problem, and online class is one of solution for prevent the massive spread of COVID-19. Thank you for the attention.